Hey people, welcome back to Comics Anime Film Entertainment, better known as C.A.F.E. Here at Casey with my man, my boy, Ace, Coach Ace with me today, helping me out. So, Coach, what's up? Tell me what's new.
Nothing much, nothing much. Just working on different projects, creating multiple sources of income, and grateful to be in present with you here, brother. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. We have to continue with the series. I know we've been, busy. You've been busy with your entrepreneurship. So I hope everything goes well with you. So let's continue with what we're going to be talking about today. And the problem that, let me not say the problem. Let's just say the what we will be talking about is why is the film industry in turmoil at the moment? We'll be watching a couple of streaming services, also in in general, like there's problems with movies nowadays. Like there's not being like a good movie, or is it problem in the film industry that they're lacking of ideas, that they're latching to this IPs and try to change up things to spice up the things and they don't work? What do you think about that?
I think that there has been certain movies that have been caught the eye of many people, but the majority are still looking for. I think it comes back to the conflict that we all have, right? That sense of nostalgia. There's nothing new to come out with. It's old literature transformed into new stuff. I'll continue bringing examples such as like Romeo and Juliet, right? And you
Mhm.
have the Underworld. The Underworld movies are a storyline based on the Romeo and Juliet uh, literature, right? That's one. And in that movie, you have a strong female figure
Yeah.
that really caught everyone's attention, but the storyline was crucially uh, depicted as the Romeo and Juliet, one family against the other, an eternal war. Boom.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In that
And
case,
that's
the Lycans against the vampires. Yeah.
exactly Lycans against the vampires, and then the vampire, which is the female figure, um, comes out successful and unites all the clans.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel you. I feel you. But I don't know why it becomes more like nowadays like I'm sorry to say this, like a meme, because it's not like it used to. I don't know if it's are we just in the fatigue state, or we just not finding that strong man female are good enough. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm looking down on them, but no, because I remember back in the days we used to watch let's say Aliens.
Hmm.
Ripley, she's
Oh
a good
yes, strong
uh
female figure.
yeah, she was great. Let's say Terminator, Sarah Connor, bro, I love her.
Oh wow,
If we go
yes.
way back, Red Sonja, she used
Hmm.
to fight with Conan.
Yep. And even in there's this Marvel series Shield, Agents of Shield. You had
Mm.
Quake, or what's
Oh yeah,
her
Quake. Yeah,
Daisy
Quake.
Daisy, right? And then you had Agent May, two strong female
Oh,
figures. And then you
yeah,
had oh my god, the scientists. It was Fitz and Simmons. I think she was Fitz. No, she was Simmons.
the
She was
red hair,
yes.
the British. I'm sorry, no,
Yes,
no
I don't know
offense.
if she's truly British, but she has that strong
Yes,
accent. Yes, it was
yes.
Simmons, that character. Those are three strong female figures in an
That's
amazing
and in their own
series.
way, and in their own sort of way. They don't have
Yep.
to be warriors every time. She was a good scientist and she defends her values.
Hmm.
That's being a strong female.
And
You
if
don't
you
have to be strong as a male to be strong.
exactly, and if
You see
you
what I'm
see
getting at?
yeah, and if you see the story that at least Simmons, right? Let's take Simmons as example in the Agents of Shield. Her story, she was a very closed little rat inside her lab, and then she goes through
Close
trauma
to
after
your
trauma, growing, becoming stronger, standing for her independence, standing for what she believes, her values, right?
yeah,
And
man.
it was a great role,
Yeah,
you know.
man. And
Um,
then all of a sudden they want to change how you see or portray women. Because I remember, and I'm sorry to bring this up, 2016. Ghostbusters, man. That movie was so. Oh my god, I can't stand that movie, bro. I can't. I can't watch it. I can't.
I I saw it and I honestly do not remember anything of it. Like the other day I was with my daughter, I'm like, um, wow, I want to see the Ghostbusters, but I want to see them from the beginning, like the originals, all the way to the last one. And then she's
Yeah,
like,
marathon.
yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, dad, but why don't we watch the ones with the females?" And I'm like, "Females?" And it took me a minute, like, "Oh yeah." And when she brought it up, I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we should watch it." So we have it to watch, you know. But it took
And
me a
they're a
minute
good
to think about it.
cast. I mean, you
Mhm.
got man. I'm not gonna go there. So let's continue because the movie is it was really bad. It was really bad.
But then,
And
I think then you have the most recent things, like the recent series of She-Hulk is one.
oh man, why are you doing this to me, man? Let's go
Yeah,
slow. But you went there. All right,
I I,
let's
I
go to
got
She-Hulk. She-Hulk, the problem that I see with She-Hulk is that she trash men and from the get-go. Like she trash men, bro. She trash her cousin Bruce, and she throw him under the bus like, hey, you don't know what I've been through. Man, he been through a lot. His father, which they didn't portray him in that series, but he really abused of Bruce when he was younger. We all know that if you read the comic books, we all know he was abused. Then he become a scientist, and the radio gamma accident, whatever, become the Hulk. But he overcome all those obstacles, and that's what we're supposed to be seeing. But no, in this series of She-Hulk, is she overcoming the obstacles that man uh throw at her, and that's not good because we're supposed to be equals, right?
we're
That's all I'm
supposed to.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, we're in
That's
that
all I'm saying.
era. No, and let's talk a
I'm
little bit.
sorry, no disrespect to the female that are watching or listening in the podcast. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm pointing out this situation that they put us in She-Hulk. I'm not saying that it's happen all around, but in She-Hulk, that's what they're portraying us. All right, continue. My bad.
So I'll bring in the aspect of history, right? So historically, we've seen the female figure always fighting for their rights because we come from an era or from a culture that the man was the predominant
Mhm.
sexual figure. I got to go back into time to talk about. Let's talk about the first sexologist in the United States. His name was Alfred Kinsley.
Oh yeah, I remember
Alfred
that.
Kinsey. Alfred Kinsey.
The one with the bees.
I'm not sure about the bees. I know that yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah, he said that males and females act towards sexual desires as animals.
What?
That there's no sense of soul, no connection, no nothing. And he managed certain studies to talk about the male figure. When the male figure's point of view came out, he became an amazing popular figure. But then he started studying the female figure, and then when he published his book and he threw out his publications, his experiments, right?
Mhm.
Excuse me. Um, literally the United States government and where the place where he was working, they just banned him
Said, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
because we're talking about the female figure, the one that gives us birth, who gives birth, the one that takes care of us, the one that nurtures us. The female figure has been depicted by history as the loving aspect, a concept, right? That ever loving nurturer. Now,
Yeah.
when we come here talking about the film industry, you're literally shifting from the loving, compassionate, nurturing figure to a warrior, fighter, protector, provider. I'm not saying
Okay.
that the female figure cannot do these things. I'm just saying that due to historical facts, changing that mindset of what society have seen the female figure and the male figure as, it's going to take a lot of time and they're going to hit a
Yeah.
lot of bumps, and that's exactly what's happening right now. They're hitting a lot of bumps because they haven't came out with the algorithm to actually say, oh wow, this this system worked for us, and as we said, Aliens, Sarah
Yeah,
Connor, all
because
the,
they were flawed women. They have problems and they overcome the situation, even though they have fear, flaw, or whatever. They overcome those obstacles, and that's what we like. That's why we men like that. It's not like we are men. We're not afraid of everything, and we go straight on to the things we have to do. No, we are. If we are the same, we have the same problems. I have fear of things. People have fear. Everybody has fear of anything. I'm afraid of heights. You think I'm gonna work in a skyscraper?
Oh, hell no!
Heck no. Hell no. Because I
but
know.
and the other aspect is you have to think as the how females think and how males think. When you give a problem to a male, it's like, okay, boom, solution, let's do it like this. No, you give a problem to a female, as you see with these powerful strong figures that we've mentioned, right? They analyze, they think about it, and then they go and conquer and, develop a
Yeah.
solution. But you give it to the guys, it's like Conan the Barbarian. Okay, let's take a sword. Shring, shring, shring. I'm
Let's
good. Kill.
kill it. Yeah,
No,
we're gonna fix this real quick.
no.
Yeah, I understand. But now the situation is like, for example, let's take Marvel for example. Bob Iger came back and they fired Bob Chapek because all the situation they have with the Phase 4 and all. So they bring Bob Iger, let's say, to minimize the damage of the brand. And the problem is that the brand is hurting is because all those type of movies and series that they had is because of that situation. Maybe they're coming with a realization of maybe we have to change a little bit or put some other perspective of, I don't know, of putting women with flaws into it or putting less women, or I don't know what they're gonna do. But for me, if you're gonna balance it, now you got a bunch of females that are overpowered with no flaw. They're not likable. What do you expect from them to get better? If they're already better, they're already sure. They're not. They're secure. They don't have no flaw. That's the problem. You see what I'm getting at?
When you say about that, what puts me to think is
For
WandaVision.
example,
The
Ray. Let's go to
WandaVision.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Let's go to Star Wars. Ray. She was in this Tatooine, uh, in the disposal area. She didn't knew about the freaking Falcon until this guy came along, Finn. I thought that we're gonna put Finn as the protagonist. No, I bet they change it at the last minute. No, she can navigate. Okay, she's gonna be the navigator. She's gonna be the next Han Solo. That's what I thought. And Finn is gonna be the next Skywalker, maybe, or the next Jedi. Who knows? Maybe he was family of Mace Windu. I thought of that. I was like, whoa, maybe he's family of Mace Windu. Who knows?
Hmm.
But no, they changed it. Like she can fly without, knowledging. She move objects just by wishing it. All of a
Using the
sudden, she know
Force.
how to use a lightsaber and defeat Kylo Ren in the first movie. Come on now, he was supposed to be training with Skywalker with his uncle Luke, and
Hmm.
she beat him. I don't know. Go ahead. I'm not gonna do a rant.
No, when you talk about like characters they're gonna bring and how they're gonna better them, what comes to my mind is the WandaVision series.
Okay.
Wanda Maximoff, right? She had a whole bunch of flaws. She had a whole and they portrayed her as the big mom wannabe and all, and her trauma and all that stuff. And so I was reading the other days, and this is why I bring it up. Um, about superheroes and villains and anti-heroes,
Hmm.
right? So superheroes and villains have the same issue, but nobody sees what it defines them. A superhero, usually a hero, let's just call them heroes, right? A hero always takes his trauma and says to himself, I'm not going to let this happen to anyone else. I'm going to stand for the right thing to do, right? A villain comes up and says the same thing, goes through a traumatic event, says the same, I'm not going to let this happen to me again. I'm going to stand in front of everyone else and I'm not going to let
Yeah.
this happen. But then you get the anti-hero. The anti-hero struggles between that trauma and says, I'm not going to let this happen to me or anyone else, and I'll do whatever. And there's no difference between what these three characters or perspectives go through, but their choice of what to do with their power. Right? And
Yeah,
then
I feel you.
going back to Wanda, she is not, honestly, my opinion, she's not a hero, she's not a villain, she's an anti-hero because she wants to do good, but she's not defined in what she really can see it, which is right or wrong. And going back to what's happening with the film industry, honestly, WandaVision series for me went down. And that ending was like, now what? Now what are they gonna bring? Right?
Yeah, yeah. The- Maybe it's maybe we just think about the writer, how they write this, but maybe it's not the writer. Maybe it's maybe it's the people behind it. For example, I'll talk about Ray a lot, is because Kathleen Kennedy is the one responsible for Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lucasfilm, and she made all this empowerment of female, and I don't mind, but put some put some respect on the male characters before them. You put the poor little, let's say, Luke Skywalker, let's just say, milking out of a freaking, I don't know, it was how you say it, a sea lion, mm, green milk.
Oh.
Come on. I mean, at least put him, show him a little more respect to him, because I know he was an old guy already. He don't want to know. He doesn't want to know about the force. But there are also many things that she, instead of putting them in the same
Ranks.
rank, no, it's like, he's an old, he's diminished. She's better. She's young. She's a female. It's not that. It's not about that. It's about learning the ways of the force. That's all we want. How she learned the ways of the force through him, and they didn't put it like that. She just like she already knows. You have nothing to show her. Nothing. That's why I always go at her. I'm sorry. That's why I'll
No,
go at her.
and I
She's the
get it,
best
but
example.
sh- but if you come to look at the movie, honestly, she was
Yeah,
just going out of instinct, not out of knowledge. She had the instinct of what was correct, and for a miraculous way, the film drove her that way, right? But
yes,
when they try to when they don't try, they introduce Luke Skywalker. It's like, dude, I'm gonna teach you what is the difference between right and wrong, and feel this. And she gets that point, but she still drives herself through
I feel you. I
emotions and
feel you.
instinct until the end.
And why you think that Marvel is having that same problem then? Why?
I gotta say, well, number one, Stan Lee is dead.
Oof, man.
Honestly,
Rest in peace.
we have to. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say this is my opinion. The one of the greatest creators of many of the fantasious, the fictional world of which we love, the action heroes, the superheroes. His mindset, his perspective is gone. And then you have all these new kind of writers and producers and directors that get the original story
I'm
right.
gonna change this better. I'm gonna do this better. And what
Exactly.
they do is they messed it up even more.
And then they attract less people than what they really wanted, because you have that conflict of what's new and what's nostalgic, right? Because we have She-Hulk, right? When was the first comic that She-Hulk came out in? Was 1980.
Yeah, I
And
feel you.
and in the 1980s, supposedly women
Hmm.
had more rights at that age than the 1960s or 70s. But look at it today, how they depicted her on the series. Like she's still struggling as a female in a male predominant world.
It was weird how they brought that up instead, basing the issues of her being just attorney, just based off of that. No, they based off of the power of Bruce Banner. No, don't mix things up. Just based off what she is. She is an attorney that she basically transformed because she was not confident enough to be herself, and with that power, she uh, grew up her confidence, if we can say that,
Yeah, because
and
it
she
did.
maintained her form. That's it.
But here's the other
Then
part.
after that, she became a hero.
Yeah, but here's the other part, right? In the original comics, She-Hulk could not go back into her original form as a human.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the
True that.
series, they gave her that special
Yeah,
spice that she can
she can
come and
control
go.
it. She can
Yes,
control it.
yes. But if we come to see, and I'm going to say it like this, let's assume that yes, she was 100% times better than Bruce Banner because she had to stay as the Hulk, as the She-Hulk forever. So she had to learn how to manage that quickly, fast, and accurately. While
Hmm.
Bruce Banner can come and go and didn't understand it at that point. So yes, okay, I'll give it to them. She could grasp the powers of the Hulk faster than Bruce. Perfect. But there's an aspect, and I think this is where you're talking about, that experience beats anything before, you know, talent. You can have natural talent throwing a basketball. Bring me an experienced NBA player. That experienced player is going to be the one who's going to win the golden ring.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Put
and you could talk about life, you could talk about health, you could talk about sports, you could talk about films, anything.
yeah,
Bring
man.
me somebody that has experience and he can maintain a wonderful pace. Because if you bring natural talent and they go out really, really hard, and then they're going to hit a plateau, and then they're going to stay stuck in that plateau until they give up on themselves, and then they go back down. And that's what I think is what you're talking about. The female figures that they're portraying in the film industry right now, which is hurting, is that they're reaching to a plateau and now they're hitting the same wall, sitting the same wall. Eventually they're going to notice and now they're going to go down and
Now
they
the
have to find
problem.
a new solution.
Now the problem is they cast different type of of people. Like for example, they can go for different race, and if you don't like that character, even though if a woman, oh, it's because of a woman. No, it's not because of a woman. Oh, you're a racist. Then
Sexist.
it's
Would
like
be. It's a sexist.
it's like, okay, I didn't mean it wasn't one. Nah, it's you're a racist. Then why? Because she's no, I didn't say that. It's just that the character is it doesn't it doesn't deserve what you put it for. I mean, it doesn't appeal to me. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's
And
weird. It's weird.
let's take for example the one of the last Thor movies, right? Not the last one, but one of the last ones, right? We have the female Thor.
Or
The
now he
female
wants now he wants to, like, hey, please give me a chance, to revindicate
and
the Thor as
and they
usual.
gave what, Jane Foster was her name, Jane
Yeah,
Foster,
Jim
the
Foster.
right to go to Valhalla,
Yeah, man.
right? I honestly think that that was she did a great role as the
Hmm.
figure, very strong. They did show her with her traumas, her situations, her little, her issues, how she overcame them, and how, at the end of the day, she was just gonna cease to exist. But she gave it the best she had. I
Yeah,
think
man.
they did a good pick on that role. But we're talking about what's the actress's name?
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, she's been acting since she's a child.
She's good.
She's a goddess
Even
in
in
the
that
acting.
movie, what was The Professional with
Yep,
Leon?
yep.
Bro, that movie was mwah. Bro.
And like you said, it's not that she's male or female is that she knows how to use her talents,
Thank you.
you know, and she knows how to transform into the strong figure, as the compassionate, as the, the one that requires help. So she knows how to transform into every aspect, that every role that they ask her to
Man,
play.
it was. I don't know what is going on in the film industry nowadays. You can see it in others, in other streaming platforms. They're doing the same mistake. I say the same mistake because we want to see a action movie and we see all this strong female lead. No, I don't want a strong female lead. I want just a female. Let's see what she can do. Maybe what she can overcome. No, let's put it again. She's a strong female. That's why this article that came the other day with Emily Blunt,
Hmm.
John Krasinski wife.
Yeah.
She was stating that she doesn't want no roles regarding strong female lead because she's tired of this. She just got bored. And she said like, "Hey, I don't want to know about no more strong female lead." Every time she hears that, she rolls her eyes out like, "Oh, nah,
because
I don't want
because
that."
she's getting it, she's understanding the algorithm. All right, I'm going to take for example
Yeah,
the series Agents of Shield, the Agent May. When they introduce her as the cavalry, right? She's a badass Asian strong female figure,
yeah,
and they show her like that. But then they had to go, if I'm not mistaken, in season 2, between season 2 and season 3, to show her what at the beginning and what was her biggest trauma and what took her to be where she is at the moment.
mhm,
That strong silent female figure that doesn't take anything, doesn't take shit, and just gets the job done. But that was the thing. They actually played it perfectly for everyone. Says like, now we understand where May's attitude comes from, because they showed her as an agent that was loving, compassionate. They showed her as a wife. They showed her as somebody who went through trauma and somebody who picked herself up and went to do the right thing, even when she was going through trauma once and over again.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
I
then
know.
let's talk about X-Men, right? Let's
Yeah,
talk about
let's go.
X-Men. The last 3 movies, if you come to notice, they had strong female figures there that
Mhm.
really shined and made the X-Men, I want to say the series of movies, even much better. Because 1, 2, and 3 was okay. The last 3 was freaking fantastic.
Yep.
And it had a storyline. And it had a storyline. Oh, that's the role.
Yeah, Emily Blunt rails against strong female lead label. It's the worst thing ever, and I'm bored of it. Man, even her that she portrayed a lot of strong female uh characters in the day, even in that movie Jungle Cruise,
Hmm.
she did a good job.
She did a great
And
job. She's an amazing actress.
yeah,
And
she's
then
like, I'm tired. Every time she hears that or read about strong female, she jumps chip. Like, I'm out. Don't call me for
Yep.
that.
But then that's like more or less the same thing that happened with Matt McConaughey. Matt
Yeah,
McConaughey had
Ron comes. He hated it.
yeah,
Like I'm
yes,
tired of it. I'm
because
tired of
he because he's that sexy man, and
it. Yeah,
very chiseled. He takes, and he was super fantastic with all the rom com.
typecast. That's what we call typecasting, right?
Hmm.
Typecast. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that type, that number one role, that romcast type of deal, right? That
Hmm.
then he tried to do other movies on the side. Which one was it? Where he was with Christian, the one with the dragons,
Rain of Fire.
Reign of Fire. He
Yeah, and
that
the guy from 300. What's his name? Oh my god, you know what I'm talking about?
I do know who you're talking about. Yes, I do
Yeah,
know the Irish guy,
yeah,
the one that was in Tomb Raider as well.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
Oh
I,
man, I
I
forgot his name.
I forgot
Let me
his
see if
name
I can
too.
find him.
But yeah, he tried to do something different while he was in that flow, and then they messed, like his career went down the drain when he said, "I'm not doing this anymore." right? And I'm
Your
talking
name
about
right
Matt
now.
McConaughey. He said, "I'm not doing these type of films anymore. I'm sorry. I want to do something
Gerard
different."
Butler. D.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. I think he's an amazing actor.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like him.
and if you look at Butler, he's great as a romantic guy as well in some of his movies, like P.S. I Love You.
Yeah, I remember
You
that.
know, and then you see his depictions in like movies of Tomb Raider. He's a badass, you know. But he went through the same situation as Matt McConaughey. He, like, hey, I don't want to do these roles. I want to do other roles.
Yeah.
Boom. And it's like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey had this depiction of being the comic all the time, and then when he did his shift, they didn't take him as serious as they do when he's doing a comedy. And it's not just, and again, and why I'm bringing up male figures now is because I'm supporting what you're saying. It's not that they're males or females, is that some people have the talent to actually shine in certain roles. And if you're pushing someone to shine in a role that they're not going to shine naturally, it's going to take a lot of work to make it work. And that's where we're hitting the wall right now. And the film industry is hitting this big wall that they're pushing something and it's hitting a wall that's not functioning. And if it's not functioning, everything's going to fall down until they go back to what really functions and really works.
There's this guy, I'm gonna say guy, um Chris Gore. He's a savage, bro. When it comes to movies, he say why movies nowadays don't work. They're trash because they don't have fundamentals. And when he meant fundamental is the basic stuff. Like, well, let's let's hit the problem, how he can overcome it, and the conclusion. They don't have that. It's like we used to say back in the day. Remember that video that we made about um
Yep.
the
The
hero's
heroes.
journey?
Yep.
They don't do the hero's journey no more. If you look at it, no, they skip a couple of things like, hey, he's into this. Let's skip this part because she don't need it or he doesn't need it. Oh, he already knew about it. It's just that it was in the dormant state. People don't believe that. You telling me that I have this quirk or power I didn't know about, and all of a sudden I'm the best thing ever. No, that's from Doomcock. Shout out to him. I like his bro
But
and
I, I
reviews.
I'll give you my point of view of what's happening, or at least what I believe is what happening is like when they literally dissected the hero's journey and they added that algorithm into the movie in the film industry, they saw that film industry went up the roof fantastically. Then they added female figures and male figures, and then they add children as their own heroes, and then they added more superheroes and so on and so on. But they kept the algorithm, they kept that flow.
And
And
the dialogue is more like preaching something like you said before. Um, She-Hulk. She's telling Bruce. She's telling Bruce, no, you don't understand what I'm going through because you don't mean what I'm been through.
and that's what I was gonna get to is like they have broken down the algorithm so much that people are getting that's not they're not getting tired. It's more like they're believing or they're assuming that society's gonna just want to just see what happens and just move on. And it's not functioning. It's not functional. It's like when I tell my like I'm a coach, right?
Okay.
And the first thing I ask people is, okay, show me your squat. Show me a squat. And I see everything. And I'm like, this is one of the things I say, like, and you go to the bathroom like that? Like you go to the bathroom like that. Think about it. When I sit down on a chair, when I sit down on a toilet, do I squat with my weight on my tippy toes? I'm just hurting myself. And that's what the industry
Mhm.
is doing, right? Look at look at the basic fundamentals, the fundaments, and fix it. Let's go back to the basics. Put the weight on your
Yeah.
heels. Keep that chest up. Put your hips back. Same thing with the film industry. Look for characters that their roles are going to make them fulfilled and happy. Emily Blunt is not freaking happy as a strong female figure. She's bored. Matt McConaughey was not happy doing the roles that he was doing in those rom-coms. He
Yeah.
was unhappy. And now that they shifted And Emily Blunt is shifting at the moment. Watch how everything in a few, and I gotta say it this way, in a few years is gonna come back into place, and their
How
life is
many?
gonna be better.
I'm sorry, but how many movies can we see it franchise has? The longest one. Uh, it should be Halloween. How many
Halloween.
Halloween movies there are?
And Halloween had two amazing characters, main characters, a female and a male.
And a male. Yeah.
And the female was always predominant.
That movies are taking too long too. Even though the franchise, okay, you can do 4 or 5 movies top, and then you can see that they're making these franchises way too long. Cut with the shades and stop it. It's like, what's this other franchise that I'm getting I'm getting to that point that is getting ridiculous. And I'm sorry for the Fast and the Furious fans, but I gotta go there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's say the first 3 or 4 movies, they were great until the fifth one. The fifth
Hey,
one was great.
hey,
I'm just saying, I like Fast and the Furious, but
I
when it
was
comes on the 6, 7, 8, come on now. Come on
okay.
now. How many you gonna make? 12
I,
movies of this?
I'm gonna concur
You have
with
a
you.
spin-off either. I'm sorry. No.
I'm gonna concur with you. Fast and Furious from 1 to 5 was fantastic. 1 to 5. The fifth one for me was the best because I was actually in it driving my car. That's the one they recorded here over there in Puerto Rico, and
I
el
remember,
Pueblo
yeah, the
todo
fifth one, yeah.
Mocoso, yeah, that they did the capoeira shoot and everything.
It was okay. I'm
It was
not
great.
kidding you. The fifth one was a funny one, and they should close it right there. They escaped the law. They don't have nothing to do with the law. They're in Brazil, whatever. They're having a blast. The bad guys, let me say it like this: the bad guys won. Woo! How many movies could you see the bad guys won? Not too many. And all of a sudden, the sixth one, whoa, we're going legit now. They're gonna get us how do you say that, free of charge or whatever.
And there were
The heck
strong
you talking about?
female figures in there. There were some amazing strong female figures in there,
Yeah, yeah,
always, and they balanced it really good. And
really
again,
good.
I gotta say it again, like
I'm sorry, I gotta go there. I
no,
had to.
it's totally fine. I mean, like that's like trying to do Harry Potter all over again.
Oof. Movies, I also movies are too long, and I mean at the time length. The other day I was watching Wakanda Forever, 2 hours and 47. Bro, I'm getting into that age that I'm not buying nothing to drink, nothing to eat in the movie theater because of that. People might think of that because, oh no, let's put 3 hour movie. Avatar is gonna be 3 hours and something long.
And then
3 hour, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, that's too
and
much. Come on now.
wait for the special edition uncut deleted scenes. It's gonna be like a 5 to 6 hour movie. But then we have to look at history of in the film industry. They
Mhm.
used to be black and white. There was no audio. Then it was like 30 minutes. Like there's this famous marketing skill, and it's not just marketing. This is historically, even in literature, stories were told verbally by by our ancestors. And if
Mhm.
you were not caught, if they didn't hook you in the first minute to 2 minutes of the story, you lost them. So if you were a storyteller and your story was not amazing in the first 2 minutes, you're gone.
I think that the audience has changed also
Mhm.
because I saw I said about Fast and the Furious and Star Wars and all these old movies, but when the new audience is coming, let's say Marvel for example, the audience of Marvel has changed drastically, and they knew about it. That was that. Let's change all the male characters to female characters because maybe the kids that from those era might like female characters. We like those female characters that you had, but you change them to be the lead, or you change them to a new version of the lead of the male character, and they don't actually quite get to that point that we like. Like, okay, I knew about Shuri, but I knew Shuri as a scientist, a technological, but not as a warrior. to see him dress as okay in the comic book she was wrote like that. I get it, but that's why you write stuff. If you don't like it, you go to another book, another comic book with Black Panther as your main protagonist. But in movies, it looks forced. It looks like, hey, this is what you have. This is what we give it to you. You have to take it. No, we don't. That's why people jump in ship. Like I said before, like no, I don't have to watch it. I'll wait for something good.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's my take. I don't want to take this long. With 41 minutes.
That-
I
it's
don't know what else you wanna add.
so you talked about the Marvel, the X-Men right now, and how
Yeah,
they chose all these characters at one point, and now, so isn't there going to be like a new X-Men movie coming up in 2 years,
yeah,
trying to
man.
bring back everybody
Well,
from the
in two
back?
years, I would say, yeah, basically, let's say with 2023, yeah, in 2 years, 2025, they're making a new one,
Yeah,
yeah, in 2 years.
yeah. So the thing here would be like, um are they going to still show Storm as the quiet, strong right hand of Charles Xavier, because she was in many of the comics like the right hand of Charles Xavier, because she was extremely grateful for him. Then you have, are they going to bring back Jean Grey, or did Jean Grey just cease to exist after the Phoenix is movie? So
Look,
what are they going to really do? That's my like, why? In other
there's
words, what
some
I'm
rumor that got Jean Grey is gonna be uh, people of color. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm not gonna go there. Even Charles Xavier or Magneto is gonna be a person of color. Um, I'm,
You know what? I don't
I'm
really mind if Magneto's any color, race, or whatever, as long as
I
he's
do
big and
I do.
strong. He
It's
has to
not
be.
that I do mine, but I do like the old version because Magneto being I'm no disrespecting being in the Holocaust, bro, it gives way much gravita than if you're gonna bring up people of color. What you're gonna do? You're gonna put it in the 60s.
So now, so
So
what you're really trying to say is like,
I don't know. You cannot.
lo- if they're
I don't know.
loyal to the comic and to the origin of the character, you're down with it.
Yeah, I'm down.
Hmm. So then I would ask you, well, what do you think they did with Nick Fury?
But
Nick
Nick
Fury,
Fury,
Nick Fury
I
was
know,
a white character in the
and
comics.
they changed it to a black guy. Yeah,
Hmm.
I know.
But I
And
think that the Nick Fury in the movies was much better, and
oh yeah,
much 100% better than the one that they depicted in the comics, because Samuel Jackson brings that nice spice of, I'm not gonna take no bullshit type of attitude in my roles,
yeah,
and that's his flow, and he's like that.
yeah. He even said it in Star Wars. Hey, I want a lightsaber different from everybody else. Okay, no problem. That's why his lightsaber is purple.
Hmm.
He wants to distinguish himself against other people. I
And
like
it's
that.
and it's about culture. It's about
Mhm.
culture. I think Denzel Washington talks about it in one of his interviews. He says
Yep.
about, like,
Yep.
there's certain films and roles that you cannot get, and I'm not trying to be, and whatever. It's gonna be how it's gonna sound. It's not racist or anything. You cannot bring a white.
He's comparing Scorsese with I think it was Schindler's List. Scorsese with I think what's the other I know what you're getting at. Continue,
Yeah,
my bad.
yeah. No, because he says, like, you can't bring a white producer to film cultural black person's life film, right? Because it's not the same thing as a female taking one of those little combs to comb
Steven
their.
Spielberg. Oh my god. Jesus. Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, it's just that point. You have to, again, we go back to the same base. What's the turmoil with the film industry is that you cannot force a cultural impact towards something that does not flow naturally and organically. And that's all I have to say about the big question: why is the film industry in turmoil at the moment?
Yeah, man.
Do not force anything that's not feeling organically and natural.
You said it. I mean, everything that is organic, man, I'm up for it. I think people liked it, and I don't know. That's why Marvel or Disney nowadays is afraid because they really, really are afraid what is going to happen since the stocks are down and all the problems that they're having because they wanted to do all the change and stuff. Now they want they I don't know if they're willing to back down from things that they say or Chapek did, or maybe Bob Iger, what he's gonna do next. If things don't change from the next phase, I believe Marvel they're gonna end up selling a couple of things.
Oh, they,
I'm gonna say it like that. I believe they're gonna sell some things.
oh, of course, of course. I think the biggest issue was the lawsuit with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's where it all started.
That's what I yeah, that's what exactly what I say. I think that's where everything started, and then everything's just a snowball
Went
effect.
downhill.
Yep, yep,
Oh my
domino
god!
effect. Everything's just hitting and
Oh my
whole.
god! I don't have money.
Hmm.
Okay, let's put the price up. They put the price up in all the Disney parks, and people are not going. The next things they might be doing is pricing up the Disney Plus. People aren't buying or seeing the things in Disney Plus. Since you can share them, people like saying, okay, what's next step? Hey, maybe they price up the Disney Plus. I don't know. I'm just guessing what you think they're gonna be doing next to maintain their
Honestly,
IPs.
I think they're hitting the point where as Netflix hit, you know
Yeah,
that.
they're plateau. Netflix, like you said, they're in a plateau.
Yep.
They're right there.
And
Like,
I don't
oh
know
my
if you
god.
follow the stocks with Netflix, as I invest. I have stocks in many things, and
Sorry.
and Netflix is it'll go up like $50 and then it just goes back down, and it
Damn.
stays. And I remember when I bought that stock, it was like $450. I believe right now it's like 250, and I could tell you that in a nutshell because I still have my I still have my stocks.
Wow, it's okay. You don't have to say it, but we understand. Yeah, the thing is not doing good right now in the film industry. I hope it will change. I hope they realize that they're losing people, regardless. Even though there's a lot of streaming services too that they're trying to compete with each other, see how that goes down. I believe that also that they're producing too fast-paced movies, like in short terms, try to compete with big budget films. Don't do that. Do your stuff. Take your time and
Hmm.
do it right. Write. Start writing. Don't buy
Yep.
stuff from like it's like Netflix. The other day I was watching. I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. Troll. I started laughing because I went. I'm watching this stuff. Oh my god, why? Why am I watching this?
I haven't seen that one.
The CGI is not bad. It's a Norwegian movie, and uh, I had to stop. All of a sudden, I had to stop. I couldn't watch it. Couldn't finish it because it was like 30, 40 minutes when the troll is gonna appear, and all of a sudden, okay, the troll is cool, but then where's the substance? Where's the what's it all about? Oh, nah. Now I see. You know what? Nah, I'm good. Turn it off after 40 minutes, bro. And the movie is I'm more than half of the movie. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I shouldn't waste time with this.
No, I get you. I
So,
get you.
anything else you want to add up before I conclude or just close or something?
I think this has been an amazing journey these last 50 minutes that we've been here. We talked about some of the issues that the film industry is being suffering, right? The female characters that
Yeah.
they're forcing to portray strong female characters that were in the film industry back in the day and actually were extremely successful, and even male figures that thought that like not even thought that they were on a roll and they were like bored, just like Emily Blunt, and said, "I'm doing a change." Is and again,
Yeah.
and this is my ending comment or my ending statement is that it's not about if it's a male or female figure. If it's not flowing organically, naturally with the person, it's not gonna go well.
No, it's not. You said it better. I'm gonna keep it at that. Let's wrap up. So, people, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Press the subscribe button. Press like. It helps the algorithm. Nowadays, we're just trying to help the channel up. If you like it, share it with people. Coach, thank you again for being here with us again. I know we took more than the time that you needed, but hey, I appreciated you coming here. And
All
all right,
right.
people. So, like we say in comics and film entertainment,
Peace.
peace.